First off, we have Abuja. Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, is located at the centre of Nigeria, whereas Nigeria is located more over onto the west of Africa. The recorded population from 2023 is 3,840,000, while the official language spoken there is English. Some other languages are Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. Some of the religion believed over there is Muslim at 50% of the population, Christian at 40%, and the remainder is more cultural religions. When talking about livability in environmental terms, the city of Abuja lacks a lot in this, due to the fact that there are barely any sustainable places to grow crops, with the only rain they're getting being from October to April, or just floods. But even then, while the rain happens, the weather is still hot and the sun is still out. This city is also a big victim to deforestation, pollution, and even diseases, but there are also some positive factors in the environmental livability of Abuja, being they have some stunning looking landscapes over there, but other than that, that is pretty much it for the positives. For the next factor, we have economical livability. The main currency in Nigeria is called Naira. 1 Naira is approximately 0.0020 AUD, and the average paying job gives about 1 to 4,000 Naira per hour. And with not many jobs available, and the fact that multiple immigrants are staying in the city, the economic stability is not too good. But, on the plus side, there are plenty of houses to stay in, and even though the pay is low, all the food and things in the city are pretty cheap. Even with these facts, the negatives greatly outweigh the positives, making Abuja not the best place to live if you want something in your wallet. For the final factor of livability we have for Abuja, that would be social livability. Social livability factors include crime levels, access to education, and access to medical care. So first we have the level of crime, which is 61.03, which is high on the scale. Next we have the worries of getting attacked, this is a citizen's opinion by the way, which is a 52.78, which is moderate. The worries of being insulted in Abuja, which is 38.97. Then there is worries of being subject to physical attack because of your skin color, ethnic origin, gender, or religion, which is 25.74%. People using or dealing drugs, which is 52.21. Next we have Abuja's accessibility to education. Now the education system in Abuja is pretty bad, not being rude or anything, because it's a key issue because most children are staying at home getting homeschooled and not getting a proper education at school. The classrooms at the school is also in pretty bad shape, mostly having children sit on the floor or other places. For the last factor, accessibility to healthcare. Now, recent reports show that the accessibility to healthcare in Nigeria/Abuja is very low and limited, since Abuja does not have access to the old new tech that most Western countries and other countries do have, such as heart monitors. Most of the machinery in Nigeria/Abuja is pretty outdated and inefficient. Next up, we have Rome. Rome, like Nigeria, is located on the west of Italy, while Italy is more located in the middle of the earth. Rome has a recorded population of 4,316,000 in 2023. The main languages spoken there is Italian and English at about a 50-50 ratio. While there are no recorded statistics of religion in Rome, the two main ones are Catholic and Christianity. The reason that Catholicism is so high in the ratio of religion is because the city is commonly regarded as the home of the Catholic Church. Now for Rome, we have environmental livability. Now Rome's climate is often hot and dry, with average temperatures reaching up to 24 degrees Celsius or 75 degrees Fahrenheit. This is mostly midday and in the morning though, because during the afternoon, the weather cools down significantly. Included with the annual precipitation they get with roughly around 30 inches, which is 750 millimeters, and the amount of lakes and things around the city, this place is very sustainable to grow crops. Another factor of the environmental livability of Rome is how well, the climate is and stuff. While Rome may be a little bit of a victim to pollution around some sort of lakes, other than that, deforestation and pollution isn't actually much of a problem considering how big of a city it is. Next we have the economical stability and livability of Rome. Economical livability and stability of Rome is quite good. Being a big and developed city, it has many different jobs to offer, which all give good pay. The main currency of Rome is the euro, which is used as the member of the European Union. €1 is approximate to 1.71 Australian dollars, and the average paying job gives about 38.005 euros per year, or on an hourly rate of 18 euros. Now, due to inflation, most houses in Rome have gotten increasingly bigger in size, but the recorded average house price in 2022 would be €3,310 per square metre. The good side of this economical factor, we do have the shops and retail outlets with very cheap prices to buy your things, so that is always a good plus if you're ever wanting to get something. The last of the livability factors, but certainly not the least, the social livability. Firstly, as we did with Abuja, we are going to be measuring the crime rates. Now, there is no recorded statement on how big the crime rates are from the public or anything, but many visitors and have left various reports saying that there is a low crime rate in most of the main areas. While there is some areas with lots of crime, it is barely visible throughout most of the city. On the other hand, if we're talking about Rome's access to education and medical care, this is very high as well, because most of the cities and streets are littered with medical care, but even though there's lots of medical care, I do say there's not that much of an education system around Rome. Now that we've given a brief overview of both cities, now it's time to compare them. In this comparison, we will be comparing which is better in terms of livability. First up, we have the environmental livability comparison. Now, if we look at the environments, we can see that Rome has barely any environmental problems, only a slight little pollution problem in some of the waters, but that rarely happens. Rather, if we look at Abuja, even though it may not look like it, it is lots of deforestation, pollution, and other stuff happens like that. Therefore, Rome is probably the best place to live if you think about environmental terms. While the economical livability of Abuja is pretty standard at best, the Rome economical livability blows it out of the water with cheap pricing on the houses, cheap pricing on stores, and great pay for jobs. It is clear who the true winner is, which is Rome. Lastly, for the livability factors we are comparing, we have social livability. When comparing social livability, we have to take into account the crime rates. Now, the crime rates for Abuja are pretty high, with big stuff like getting shot, stabbed, hurt, getting stolen from, like big theft, like maybe banks or something. While in Rome, it's not the case. Yes, there is some places in Rome where the crime is quite high, but those are more secluded places, and the only crime being pickpocketing or theft. Another factor of livability in the social scale is access to education and hospitals, such as healthcare. When checking this, we can see that Abuja greatly lacks this, since it has the biggest ratio of people schooling from home. While Rome lacks a tiny bit in education, it still makes up for it with the big healthcare system, and it still does have lots of education, just not as much as a city such as Melbourne. Abuja also loses this one again due to the fact that it has barely any health monitors and new tech that the new generation uses. Now that we've finished the comparison, I would like to give a few tips to both cities, not like they're ever going to listen to me, on how maybe they could improve on their livability factors. Starting up with Abuja, a great idea for the environmental factors would be to maybe slow down on the construction a bit, because a big reason for deforestation and pollution is all the kind of gas and trees chopped down to build the city. Another thing that Abuja could improve on would be to stop littering, because for pollution, obviously, littering is probably going to cause some pollution in the water or other places. The two pieces of economical advice I have for Abuja would be to increase the quality of their items and decrease the price. This is due to the fact that not many Nigerians may have the amount of money to keep a sustainable family alive. This could lead to lots of debt by borrowing money from the bank, or even worse, maybe death if they take it from other places like loan sharks. Now, the two social factors that I have for Abuja would be to, for the crime, maybe get like a little better police force to watch over the city, because with the amount of crime there, it doesn't seem like either there's a good police force or maybe they're just slacking off or something. I'm not very sure. And another one would be to maybe for the government to lend the schools some money so they can improve their classrooms, because in most Abuja classrooms you're normally sitting on the floor. Of course, we can't forget the system with Abuja's healthcare. A great way to improve that would be to maybe invest in the latest tech to hopefully maybe save many more lives in Abuja. For the first problem in Rome's environmental scale, I'm not completely sure if this is an environmental factor because I didn't mention it in the actual kind of environmental factor thing for Rome, would be the public transport. Now, the public transport is pretty good overall. People say it's good. The only thing is it's a bit busy and chaotic. So, a suggestion would be to perhaps maybe designate different sort of lanes to different things, because to reduce traffic in the public transport areas such as planes, trains, and maybe public taxis. Another problem, well, not that I have, but maybe other people have reported, is just that the air quality in Rome isn't the best when exposed to it for long times. So my idea would be to maybe like work on that. I'm not sure exactly how, but somehow kind of work on the air to maybe purify it a bit, you know, because people say it's a bit dirty and dusty around the ancient city. Some good advice for Rome's economical situation would be to perhaps maybe invest in some more schools. As I've stated before, the school system is pretty good, but there aren't many schools around, so a good investment would be to put into education. The second problem I have with Rome's economical situation is the cost of living has gradually gotten higher due to inflation. What I mean by this is that the cost of food, water, and other resources required to live are gradually becoming higher because more money is printed. An easy solution to this would be to stop printing as much money. As for the social, the only real thing that I can give for the social is for the police force to watch out for any pickpockets there might be around the streets. Other than that, the rest is pretty good. I don't really have anything to give out for the social. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Today was a pretty fun one to make, I guess, and well, I guess if you want me to do anything else, I guess you could just leave a comment or something.